Path Media. I was a minimum wage movie theater usher that made good and became a top earner in my network marketing company. Now, after 16 plus years in the profession, I'm finally teaching myself how to leverage the internet with online marketing and social media marketing to continue to grow and expand my business. My name is Ronnie Cruz, and this is Path of the Network Marketer.
All right, welcome back to the show. Thanks for tuning in. Today, we're going to talk about being bold, right? Being bold and what it means to be bold. I listened to a recent episode from, I think, a couple weeks back, Jenna Kutcher's show, the Gold Diggers, and I'll link the particular episode in the show notes so you can listen to it. But they discussed, her and her guest discussed what it means to be bold, right? What it means to be bold. And I think it's a good discussion. So I wanted to give my 2 cents. You guys know I love mindset and I love, peak performance and helping you elevate your game to whatever level that you're working on next. For me, being bold, a lot of the conversations that I hear in personal development and in the space is just right now, everything is very externally driven. Right? It's externally driven, meaning that it's these external factors that we're responding and reacting to for our personal growth. And I'm going to talk more about the other aspects of that when it comes to boundaries. But in specifically when it comes to boldness and being bold, it's always in relation to others, right? In relation to the community and how we're going to be perceived by the community and risk taking. So I wanted to really hone in on a particular aspect of this that I haven't necessarily heard. Now, when it comes to boldness and being bold, right? Like obviously we all need to, in this space, right? In the personal development space and the personal growth space, especially in business and entrepreneurism, success principles, mindset, all this stuff, right? Peak performance. If we're trying to level up, we have to be bold, right? We have to be bold. Now there can be a misconception out there in the sphere with boldness equating to aggressiveness, and that's not really the case, right? I think aggressiveness comes from, it's from the same vein, not necessarily that it's actively promoted or spoken about, to be aggressive, but it's kind of the same personality trait or character of hustle culture, right? You got to get yours, at all costs, no matter what it takes. Being bold doesn't necessitate being aggressive. It really doesn't, right? Nor does success, right? Nor does success. I think that's a misconception that that I will continue to try to dispel. So boldness doesn't mean aggressiveness. It really doesn't. And in fact, you can be very bold, and be kind at the same time, right? Be kind at the same time, and I actually encourage that type of boldness. I think boldness for the most part, we shy away from boldness because of our own reluctance and how we might be judged, how what other people might think of us, and maybe fear of making mistakes, or fear of looking stupid, or fear of it's just perception largely, right? That is a mechanism in our minds from ancient times, right? And boldness really just means risk, and it means doing something that we're not necessarily used to doing. So you can if you step out of that, if you step out beyond your comfort zone on the regular basis, you can develop the muscle and end up creating this skill and this habit of being bold and kind, and you're just gonna naturally stand out because you're just used to it and you're comfortable in it. To get there, however, you have to really be purposeful and intentional about making the decision to be bold. And it's not so much that you have to take crazy risks or that you have to be different, right? Like being contrarian just to be contrarian is not necessarily being bold. It's really getting beyond the thing that you're holding yourself back from, right? That to me was what really being bold is. Yes, there's the outside perception and judgments that can happen, as a result of being bold, but that's why we stop ourselves, right? Like the boldness doesn't come from those external factors necessarily. It's our perception of those external factors and getting beyond ourselves, stopping ourselves. Right, and that's really what it gets to. It's a mindset more than anything else, external, because what keeps us from being bold is ourselves, right? Is those stories. It's ourselves stopping ourselves from taking those things that we perceive as risks because of the fear of judgment, the fear of getting it wrong, the fear of standing out, the fear of looking dumb, et cetera, et cetera. It's our own perception and our own fears that keeps us, that stops us and that holds us back. And so to be bold is to do it despite those fears, right? Despite those hesitations and despite those things that you're afraid will happen, right? Because all of it is just in our heads anyways. I say that a lot on this show. It doesn't exist outside of our own headspace. And so you can be bold. You can start stepping out and pushing yourself beyond those, self limitations. Yeah, self-imposed limitations. That's what it really is. Being bold to me is stepping beyond your self-imposed limitations, having the courage to at least just take one little step outside of your comfort zone. Right, and the more you do that, the bolder you can be, and you'll start to eventually realize that okay, there's really very few, if anything, that I need to be afraid of. So that's what being bold is, and when you do that, you can really step into amazing things that you never knew were possible for your life, right? Because you've been holding yourself back this entire time. So this is a really important piece of mindset. Really work on being bold, and really what that means is working on not holding yourself back. So that's the message for today. More from me tomorrow. So until then, be well, be safe. I'll see you in the next episode.